In my Naruto live action video, I changed my mind on live action adaptations of manga. I explained how it could be done and wrote the first Naruto movie out of 6. Watch that to see what I'm looking for in this Netflix One Piece. Netflix did this anime justice. The show is definitely good. The show wasn't trying to be a live action anime. The characters acted like movie characters and it worked out perfectly, just like I suggested in my Naruto video. It wasn't completely accurate, but that's not a problem as long as the changes service the story. Episode 1 was Alvida and Morgan. This was solid. I think I actually prefer the way this plot played out, especially the axe hand Morgan part. The only disappointment is that they removed the thematic scene when Morgan told his men to kill themselves. Episode 2 was Orangetown. They completely changed this, but what they gave us was interesting. Buggy captured all the townsfolk and forced them into the crowd of his circus. This was a great idea that strengthened his clown motif, but what was lost was the guardian dog subplot, which was emotional. We also lost the theme of this arc, and Zoro lost his fight. It was still well paced. Episodes 3 and 4 were the Syrup Village arc. This didn't need to be 2 episodes. The first one felt like it accomplished very little. To be fair, this arc was also slow paced in the manga. Here, we lost Usopp's fight and the theme. Usopp didn't do much since Django was removed. It's unfortunate we couldn't see Kuro killing his allies. This was a great scene and fostered the theme. Episode 5 and 6 were the Baratie arc, and this deserved to be 2 episodes. The pacing is better than in the manga, and the story beats are mostly the same. My only issue is that they removed Don Krieg attacking Baratie, which also removed the theme from the arc. However, Arlong showed up at the end to fight Luffy. Episodes 7 and 8 were the Arlong Park arc, and I think this was also paced better than in the manga. In the manga, it felt like the first half was wasting time with faking Zoro's death and faking Usopp's death too, but here, the fat is cut. An issue I have is that Zoro didn't get his 1v1 for some reason. Hachi wasn't in the arc. I don't see why he couldn't have been added. Everyone else got their fights. After Arlong Park, Luffy vs Garp is added, and Garp completes the second arc of letting the new generation do their thing. That was good. I like the way certain scenes were rearranged or added in to fit the story. Zoro killing Mr. 7 was talked about in the manga, but here, they actually show it and incorporate it into the plot. I like how they did Zoro's rice ball scene with the little girl. I loved Nami's spy subplot and the marine base as well. It was a great addition. Nami's subplot about being a traitor was set up really early and lasted longer. I really like how Arlong is connected to more of the other arcs. It makes the universe feel more tied together rather than each island being in a bubble. It also sets him up as the overarching antagonist of the East Blue Saga. He captured Buggy and used him, and then pulled up in Baratie looking for Luffy. I like how the Nyaban brothers also work for Kaya. I like how Zoro somewhat recognizes Kuro since he's a pirate hunter. The Marines are recurring antagonists, and they have a whole subplot about hunting for Luffy. And Kobe and Garp battling over morality. Kobe even gives Garp his first arc. That was fantastic. Kuro is the one who's been slowly poisoning Kaya, which is also a good addition. Mihawk's inclusion in Baratie makes more sense, because Garp had been chasing Luffy and asked Mihawk to get him. Luffy losing to Arlong in their first fight makes him a more threatening antagonist. In the manga, Luffy just moonwalks on Arlong in their first fight. Examples of unnecessary changes is Sham, one of the Cat brothers, being a girl, and Nojiko being black. These changes don't serve any narrative purpose. I also don't like the Usopp-Kaya romance. They were just friends in the manga. Not every relationship has to be romantic. One Piece doesn't even really do romance. The acting was solid. Everyone played their part well, but Zoro, Helmeppo, Buggy, and Sanji were easily the best. It was a combination of their acting and the writing behind them. I actually think this Buggy is better than the manga Buggy. The team chemistry is great, maybe even better than in the manga. Nami and Zoro aren't fully on board until later. They're still adventuring with Luffy, which gives them room to grow into his actual Nakamas. Nami and Kaya had a better relationship. I like Nami returning the stolen items after befriending her. I don't remember if they even had a relationship in the manga. Nami is overall a better person here than in the manga. Nami and Zoro's relationship was also deeper and more complex. They're both trying to pick each other's brains, but they eventually become closer. I love the scene when she tells him not to fight Mihawk because he's her friend, and he dismisses it. She also came back to watch Zoro's fight, even though she was planning on leaving. She only left to save Luffy from Arlong. Arlong seems more passionate about racism and fisherman superiority, but I could be wrong. The action is decent to really good. It isn't choppy, and the takes are long. There was one smooth transition in the Luffy and Nami fight in episode 1. They focused on non-CGI choreography, and it really worked out. The fights are low-key better than most of the manga counterparts. Zoro's use of his third sword against Morgan was creative. Yasopp's ricochet was epic. The way they defeated Buggy was smart. Arlong using seawater to fight Luffy was also smart. Here are some extra thoughts. The comedy's rare, but pretty funny. I was worried they would try too hard to be funny, but they didn't. I think most of the jokes landed, which is unlike the manga. It's interesting how they split up the backstory in chapter 1 across multiple episodes, but it worked. Certain scenes would be shown when they could sync up with what was happening in the present. They did this with other characters' flashbacks as well. I like the unique character titles. There was Buggy, Usopp, Zoro, Sanji, Nami, and Arlong. Some of them are references to the character Jolly Rogers, which was a cool Easter egg. I like how the outfits change each arc. It's a reference to how in later One Piece arcs, they usually have a new fit each arc. The accents don't make sense. It's like Star Wars. People just have whatever accent regardless of location. I like how the bounties show up whenever a captain is introduced, and I love how some of the characters interact with it. Arlong, Kuro, Mihawk, and Krieg all did. I like the use of panels. It's a neat reference to the comic origins. I like Luffy and Sanji calling out their moves. It kinda sounds corny, but the way they acknowledge it is funny. It seems like they're setting up Zoro to call out his finishing moves too. I don't like the removal of so many themes. The themes with Alvida and Shanks seem to have stayed, but all the others were removed. That's disappointing. In conclusion, this is the first good live action anime in a long time, and it's definitely the best live action anime that wears the anime on its sleeve. Edge of Tomorrow kept it hidden. As long as the fans aren't expecting a one-to-one replica, I believe most One Piece fans will be satisfied with this. The story kept the spirit of One Piece, but it changed some plot and character elements to fit its medium. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and help me revolutionize the manga industry by buying my manga and spreading the word. All important links will be in the description.